So that thank you so much and welcome. Tonight at Paver's Place, we have Michelle Thompson. She's a DO. She is board certified in integrative medicine. She is board certified in lifestyle medicine, and she is board certified in family medicine. So she's triple board certified. More importantly, she is an incredible human being that carries with her a light that shines wherever she is. She runs these group visits herself at University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. You may know it as UPMC. She truly is a Wonder Woman in all the things that she does for clinical medicine and for medical education, and is also involved in research. She is an important member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And we are so delighted that she's with us tonight for paving the path to wellness and our Pavers Place. Without further ado, I want to welcome my good friend, Dr. Michelle Thompson.
Thank you, Beth. I'm so excited to be here with all of you and share mind body medicine tonight and really talk about how you can activate your own inner healer. And so I'm going to share my screen, but before I do that, because I'll lose all of your beautiful faces, I'd like to see a show of hands people who feel like they already are their own inner healer or have that inner wisdom within you. Raise your hand if you feel like that. Yeah, we've got a few in the room. Great. Yes. And that's what I want you to leave with today. Just having a little bit of a better connection to yourself. And we're going to talk about what is mind body medicine. And it really is how we can connect our mind with our body and it can become our medicine, and how we can take this to the physicians and those that we, go to get guidance for our care, and how we can really activate our own inner wisdom and share that in our own healthcare journey, because that's really the team-based approach that we're trying to instill in you, so that you feel like you have that kind of power in your healthcare. And one thing you're going to see today is that you do have power until your very last breath. And so I'm going to assume each and every one of you in this room are currently breathing, which means you're powerful humans. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we can use that breath work to come back to that when we need it as a tool to help us in our lives. And so how many of you in this room right now have a breathwork practice? Good, good. And how about a different sort of meditative practice? Maybe it's not a breathwork practice, maybe it's something different. Yeah. How about any people that knit? No. So, that can be considered a moving meditation. We have somebody who does knitting. Great. Wonderful. Yeah, so it doesn't just have to be a breathwork practice, right? It can be so many different things, and that's what we're going to share today is maybe that breathwork practice isn't for you. Or maybe as we do this together, it seems a little hard. You're like, maybe this isn't for me. But I assure you, what we're going to do today is we're going to find something that resonates with you. So, with that, before we get started, actually, I'm going to pause for a little bit of breath work. So, close your eyes if you feel comfortable and safe doing that. And if not, just softly gazing at the floor. Beginning to come into your breath slowly and deeply in through your nose, all the way to the top of your head. Letting it out through your mouth all the way to the bottom of your feet. Continuing to breathe at your own pace, knowing that your own pace is the most perfect pace. Maybe placing one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, and really feeling your chest rise as you breathe in and your belly expand as you breathe out, thinking soft as you breathe in, belly as you breathe out. Maybe letting go of anything that's already happened in the day or something that maybe you've been holding on to that you feel like is too heavy to carry. Just set it down and not thinking about anything you need to do when we're done here, but being right here, right now, focusing on this breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Belly soft and relaxed. And if your mind wanders, come back to your breath, knowing that as long as we're breathing, there's more right with us than wrong with us. And as long as we're breathing, we have the ability to make a change. And if our mind wanders, come back to that thought of soft as you breathe in, belly as you breathe out. Maybe beginning to realize that this breath is our superpower and we have it no matter where we are. Maybe placing both hands on your heart if that feels comfortable. Maybe noticing your heartbeat, continuing to breathe. At your own pace, connecting your mind with your body, with your spirit, maybe breathing in love and kindness and care and tenderness and compassion for yourself, just like you give to so many people around you. Give it all to yourself right now in this moment. And maybe on your out breath, can you soften just a little bit further, reminding yourself, I deserve to relax, I deserve to be comfortable. And maybe on your next breath, making it the most mindful breath you've ever taken in your entire life, really feeling the quality of the air as it goes in through your nostrils and out past your lips. And then if your eyes are closed, maybe softly opening them and beginning to look around the room and coming back to this space when you're ready. Does anyone feel better than when you came in? Yeah, so I needed that myself today. So thank you for allowing me to guide you in that breathwork practice. And I'm curious, Beth has a question.
I wanted to thank you so much for starting with that and getting us all into this parasympathetic mode, this creative mode where we can really receive the information that you're going to share today. I also wanted to tell you, and I don't know if anyone noticed this, but I am on my exercise bike that is a stationary bike that has a little laptop tray in front of it. And I realized that this is not the best way to do meditation. This is the first time I actually did my deep breathing meditation on the bike, but I'll say it wasn't bad. I wasn't fully grounded on the floor. I'm on the pedals, but it was a variety. It was a new experience for me. I'm going to need to move over to the to the level ground for the rest of this.
And I love that you noticed that. And actually, you bring up such an important point because, and thank you for saying that, because I'm curious to know why didn't you just move? Right?
What
I
a what a great question. It's like I didn't want to disrupt the energy in the room, like as if I'm in the, but I am in the room, but I mean,
But
I'm just not
you
a physical.
weren't. And that is the point. So thank you for that wonderful comment because as I'm moving through this space with you today, this is your space. This has not anything to do with me or any of us around us. I invite you to really think, what do I need in this moment? If you need to get up and go to the bathroom, go. If you need to get some tea, grab it. If you need to lay on the floor because you're not comfortable, do it. But that is such a valid point that we just need to reconnect our mind with our body and understand that we are our own best healer. We know what's best for ourselves. I can't take Rochelle's glasses and switch them with Tammy's. They're not going to work. So what we have to do is really just can we listen? Can we listen? And that was just like, we didn't plan that, by the way, but that's the point in this, is that we get to going in life and we don't stop and we don't go, I might be a little more comfortable if I would just move. And I've been known to go into a patient exam room and I just set down my computer and say, excuse me, I'm going to set this down and use the restroom and I will be right back. And I thought to myself, the first time I did that, I thought they're probably going to think I'm weird. And then I thought, it doesn't matter what they think. I'm honoring my basic body needs. And if that's not okay, then guess what? They're not for me, because I need to honor myself and fill up my own cup and take care of myself before I take care of others. And that is so important. And that's really what this space is about today, because truth be told, humans that are physicians tend to lose that because we're always making sure everyone is okay out here and we forget to take care of ourselves. And so this happens with caregivers. This happens with moms, this happens with anybody we're taking care of. We have to stop and pause and say, what do I need in this moment? So thank you. I love that you just did that. I love it. Okay. So let me share my screen. And this is just, and I'm going to, so interrupt me if I need to pause at any moment. So today we're just going to talk about activating our inner healer. Let me mute my phone. My husband just messaged me, but he knows I'm doing things. So, okay. And so a little bit about me. Who am I? I changed my own diet, exercise, and lifestyle in 1992. And I'll explain to you why in a moment. I ran a massage therapy school earlier on in my career, and that's how I became integrative. I actually was running that massage therapy school while I went through running the massage therapy school while I went through medical school. And then I did my residency at UPMC. I trained in integrative medicine early on. I learned spirituality and medicine early on, implemented that into my career. And then I, got board certified in integrative medicine, lifestyle medicine, mind body medicine. And I am the residency director at the UPMC. I teach at the medical school, teach mind body medicine to them. And I have a full-time practice. I'm the medical director of our whole lifestyle medicine for our 100,000 employees at UPMC. My website is at the bottom of this screen. It will also be on the last slide if any of you want to have that. I have meditations on there as well as resources and podcasts. Here's my why. So this is why I changed my diet, exercise, and lifestyle. That tall person standing to my left, that with a bow tie, is my son. And when I became a mom, I thought to myself, boy, I have to be an example to take good care of him. And I really need to, really teach him a way that I wasn't taught. And so that's why I changed my diet, my lifestyle, and I tried to teach him all the things that I didn't know. And this is his beautiful wife who he met and is from China, and my husband. And I've never put a picture of my family in my slide deck. And I just decided a little bit ago, I'm sharing with you what is my why. Because to me, this is truly why I have done all that I have done in my life, not just for myself, but for my future. I'm hopeful to be a grandma someday, and I hope to be a great grandmother and be able to pass on the wisdom that I have learned along my way. So today we're going to talk about mind-body medicine. I'm going to skip over some of this. I don't want to make it too medically for you, but really we're going to talk about this. Mind-body medicine is the new model of healthcare. What does self-care look like in medicine? We're going to go through some mind-body techniques and we're going to look at some evidence. Excuse me. So mind-body medicine looks at mind-body practices focusing on the interactions of mind, body, and behavior with the intent to use the mind to affect physical functioning and promote health. And that's the definition by the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine. Mind-body medicine is the understanding of the complete interpenetration of mind and body and the possibility that all of their aspects can speak with one another and can promote healing. And that's by the founder of the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, Dr. James Gordon, who I studied under, and we'll talk a little bit more about him as we move along. I am getting the pop-ups to let people in. So if you see me doing that, that's I'm accepting them and admitting them in. So why do we need mind-body medicine more than ever? Well, we have an unprecedented source of stress in our modern life: poverty, racism, gender discrimination, abusive relationships, job loss, long-term illness, chronic pain, and then came COVID-19. It sent us all into a global pandemic, causing all kinds of stress, a global trauma. And then knowing we cannot live in the sustained fight or flight response, the human capacity to maintain fight or flight response long after the threat or trauma is over. The detrimental effects of chronic stress, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune conditions, depression, burnout, all of these can come if we don't really come back to our mind-body connection and try to move into our parasympathetic nervous system, just like Beth was talking to us earlier about. And so things happen: criticism, rumination, past trauma, then activate our primary stress hormones, the HPA axis, cause dysregulation of these biological pathways, then lead to problems with our insulin, glucose, lipids, neurotransmitters, causing an impact on all of our major systems, our organs, tissues, cells, and DNA. So we've seen the effectiveness and the limitations of conventional and the dualistic approach to medicine, right? We know that 7 out of 10 deaths are due to chronic illness, and the increase of fatal adverse drug reaction has raised a question: is there something more that we can do before medication? And we're rediscovering the potential of other approaches that have minimum adverse effects. So on the left is the old model of medicine: drug, surgery in the center, complementary alternative medicine on the outside. What I'm proposing is, can we put self-care in the center of the way we do everything? Complementary alternative medicine next, drugs and surgery absolutely last. That's been my role at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and with the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, to teach this so that those of us know that caring for ourselves is important, and we have to care for ourselves before we care for others, really changing the whole culture, the whole fabric within a giant hospital system, so that we can all want to stay in the hospital system and care for ourselves while we're caring for others. So what is this self-care thing we're talking about? Is it good habits? What is well-being? What is it? Resilience? Is it stress management? Is it being good to yourself? We're going to talk about that. So self-care refers to self-management in terms of any act that improves or maintains optimal physical and psychological health. And it's all those tools and techniques that we know that we can use to understand and better know ourselves mentally and physiologically. And again, remember, we can't change eyeglasses, right? So it's going to be different for each and every one of us. We also know that providers, in looking at if you are in the healthcare field or if you're providing for someone else, if you're a caregiver, if you're a parent, if you're a family member, that self-care that we're giving, we should be practicing that same health enhancing activity and personal care that we recommend to others. We have to first identify our own physical, mental, spiritual, and social needs and actively address each one intentionally, and then recognize the impact that the work in general health has on our physical, emotional, spiritual, or social well-being. So it's really important that we are making sure that we're understanding all of ourselves before we're going out and then caring for others, and whether it be in people we're caring for or in our work. So mind body medicine, let's break it down. It's about taking care of ourselves and sharing it with others. So as I'm in the room with you today, I am considering my own mind body connection. Whether or not, if I pause to take a drink, it's because I feel like that's what I need in this moment. If I stand up, if I move myself around, I really am trying to stay connected to myself so I'm better able to connect with you. When I facilitate a mind body medicine group, I always say, I'm a facilitator, but I'm a participant. None of us in this room are perfect. We're all working on all of these things all the time. And so we break this down into meditation, nutrition, biofeedback, prayer, if that's available to you, looking at genograms, self-expression, relaxation, or exercise. And our lifestyle medicine is self-care. So the four domains of self-care: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and the six pillars of lifestyle medicine: eating plants, keeping moving, sleeping well, being present, staying calm, and loving people. By the way, that's why I showed up today, because I love all people. I love being human with humans. Um,
Awesome.
this slide that's in here is a little bit old. It's old every day. Every time I update it, it just gets old again. And the reason is because lifestyle medicine is sweeping our nation. And it's really a wonderful thing to be part of. The Health Systems Council, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, of which Dr. Beth Frades is the president. She actually has been leading the charge with a lot of this over the past several years. And what we're seeing is health systems are growing across the country and putting lifestyle medicine somewhere in the center of their healthcare system. And I think, Beth, and you can correct me, I think we're at 115 hospital systems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, just I'll get that slide 115. In a few days, it will be 120. So forgive me for my slide not being current there. But mind body medicine is something that we can utilize in our lifestyle medicine pillar for our stress management. And so that makes it better available to us to do all the other things that we should be doing or could be doing in our lifestyle that we are implementing. So, what is meditation? It's a family of complex emotional and attentional regulatory strategies that's developed for various ends, including cultivation of well-being, emotional balance. But mindfulness meditation is the most broadly studied. It emphasizes reducing distraction, enhancing awareness of our present moment experience, while adopting an attitude of openness and acceptance. And did you see how, when we were talking about that, I'm noticing that I was uncomfortable on this chair. Oh, I'm going to accept the fact that I'm going to move my body in this moment. So just little things like that. And we've learned over time that this meditation is so important because we have neuroplasticity and our brain can change in response to our experience. Maybe sometime in the future, when Beth is sitting somewhere and she's feeling uncomfortable, she's just going to get up and move now, because she's going to make a note like, why would I just stay sitting there and be uncomfortable in that spot? So I'm just going to move, right? So what we've seen over time is that in functional MRIs that study our brain, it shows progressive change in the brain activity and structure from beginners to long-term meditators. So this is the dose response. The more you do it, the more your brain changes. The longer you practice, the more enduring those changes are. So we're going to put some theories into practice today. So we did our soft belly breathing practice already. And one thing that did was it increased the tone of the vagus nerve, which regulates the activity in our amygdala, which is responsible for depression, anxiety. So we know that when we're doing our breathwork practice, it can reduce the physiologic markers of stress, like salivary cortisol, blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate. That's why you can lower your blood pressure 20 points by just doing a breathwork practice. It can also help in the depression anxiety rating scale. It can also help you to sleep. So what if, when you wake up in the night to go to the bathroom and you can't fall back to sleep, you actually focus on your breath, and maybe you count your breath, and that distracts you from the thoughts of all the things you didn't get done in the day, all the things you have to get done tomorrow, but just maybe coming back to your breath. And so consider that in your insomnia nights, that you have a tool right there in your pocket. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to stop my screen for a minute. We're going to do a body scan. So everybody get really comfortable. If that means laying on the floor, lay on the floor. If that means sitting back in your chair, sit back in your chair. But what I want you to do is close your eyes if you feel comfortable and safe doing that. And if not, again, just softly gazing at the floor. This is whatever feels right for you. Maybe you're in a seated position, maybe you're in a lying position, but maybe whatever you're doing, take your hands and put them either palms face up on your lap or on the ground, or face down. Whatever feels right to you. Face up if you'd like to receive, face down if you feel like you need some more grounding. But stay aware of what's happening in your body. Maybe stepping out of clock time, stepping into mind, body, heart. Your awareness of what you're experiencing is important. This is not easy. Can you let go of the tendency to have to do things? The time that you're here right now and in this moment is entirely for you, completely for yourself, nourishing yourself. Maybe focusing on your breath. Maybe let go of judging thoughts, things to do. There is no one right way. Except that you have permission to feel however you want. Maybe begin to sense your body as a whole. Maybe as you breathe in, your entire body breathes in. Maybe as you breathe out, your entire body breathes out. Maybe as you breathe like this, you feel that wave of your entire body taking a breath in and your entire body completely relaxing, letting whatever is beneath you hold you in this moment. Remembering that as long as you're breathing, there's more right with you than wrong with you. And as long as you're breathing, you're currently safe and you're currently well. Ride the waves of your breath. Noticing this breath as it goes in and out through your nose or your mouth. Feeling your belly rise, feeling your belly fall. All of the muscles in your body let go. If your mind begins to wander, gently come back to your breath. Reminding yourself it's in our mind's nature to wander. All we have to do is breathe and be okay with silence. And one more breath on your own, really noticing how it's nourishing our bodies, how it's allowing us to be here, how it's allowing us to connect, not just with ourselves, but with the others in the room, and how this breath is our common humanity. Everyone on the planet is breathing in this very moment. And maybe sending some love and some light, not just to yourself, but to everyone else out there. And then opening your eyes when you're ready and coming back to the screen. Thank you for allowing me to do that with you. Okay. Did anyone find that any easier than the first breathwork practice? Yeah? Did anyone find it more difficult? Beth.
I found it easier because I wasn't sitting on the stationary bicycle.
So great, right? She was much more comfortable.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. Anybody else want to share? Yeah,
So
Barbara.
this is Barbara. Knowing that I was coming to this session tonight and knowing what makes me feel best, I had a little attitude adjustment because I needed one. And I walked to as fast as I could to the library and back. So I had a destination. So when I came to class, I was dripping, but very relaxed. So this is actually really nice because the breath work made me go a step further. And the just the exercise we just did takes it a step further. And I will say that I'm not good at hills, so I actually do a um, a deep breathing. It's like a moving meditation where I think of, I think about my breathing and I really lose track of where I am and what else I'm doing, other than I do watch where I put my feet. And if there's anybody too close or something like that, that shouldn't be. But that's where I find that it's natural. It's that I have to do it if I'm going to make it to the top of the hill, not that I'm doing it for any other reason.
Yeah. And what great realization and noticing of your awareness of your body and your breath. I mean, and noticing your feet. I think that's really important. Yeah, Beth.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I meant to clap for Barbara. I've known Barbara. I don't know Barbara how many years.
I
I
don't know, 3 or 4 now, 4 or 5. It's a
probably
while.
I think it's five. I think it's COVID. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I love hearing from Barbara. I was just going to clap for her for
Uh,
her ability to change her attitude,
Yeah.
decide to go ahead and go for a walk, come back, fully participate. This is just
mhm.
Barbara.
Yeah.
So, it's great to see you and thanks for sharing.
Well,
Yeah.
it all goes back to that mind body connection. And I needed an attitude adjustment.
But the fact that you had awareness of that, and we're going to talk about our emotions in this too, because all emotions are valid, right? Even when we're angry, even and we'll get there. But a lot of times people have an easier time with this one because they've already done it. Remember, it's a dose response. I've already taken you there. You've already settled down a little bit. You're not in that sympathetic so much anymore. Kind of settled in. And two, it's guided a little bit more. It's a body scan. You're sort of moving through your body as opposed to just that focus on your breath. And so, my point in these things is just try something different, right? If you don't like one thing, try something else. And so, when we just did this body scan, it's really part of this 8-week program, Mind Body Stress Reduction, that was created by John Kabat-Zinn in 1979. It's a process of focused attention on the physical body, starting at the toes to the top of the head. It's increasing that body awareness. There's a significant reduction in ratings for pain related to stress and for pain interfering with social relations when this is done in a clinical setting. So I do use this a lot with my chronic pain patients. Doing a brief body scan intervention reduces the strength of a desire to smoke. We just had a case. I have a medical student and a resident in the room here tonight. We had a case this morning. I said she takes one puff a week. I think she told me. I'm like, just ask yourself what you really need in this week. Do you really need that puff? I said, can you really just check in with your body and see what it is? Because that's what we talk about, mindful smoking, mindful drinking. Can we ask ourselves, what do I really need in this moment? Because it's probably not the cigarette and it's probably not the alcohol, right? It's probably stress management. So this can also improve our quality of sleep, decrease sleep latency when part of the mind body stress reduction program, and leading to a positive impact on our heart rate variability. The next practice we're going to skip over is biofeedback, but this is on my website. So I invite you to go to my website and you can do this one on your own. It's where we can learn to voluntarily change a measurable biological parameter, which normally can't be regulated consciously, but can be controllable through exercise. This is a big one, actually, for physicians who have been trained to run into a code and they get thrown into fight or flight response so quickly. Like when you, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute just because I want to see everyone. I talk with my hands too, by the way. Sorry about that. But so when and this happens in trauma as well, because you go from zero to the, oh no, this is going to happen, right? And so in a physician, you walk into a room, you got to save a life. Well, then you open your email, oh my gosh, I have to respond to that email. Or, you start to really go from zero to sympathetic really fast. And we really want to try to not do that. And so for me, I work really hard at, okay, that can wait until later. Like I really check in with myself that this isn't something that is life or death, right? And so these are things that we can kind of check back in with ourselves and we can do. And so a systematic relaxation breath work practice can be really beneficial for this as well. And so I also have that one that you can actually do on my website. And I think there's also one on my Facebook that is, I have a Dr. Michelle Thompson on Facebook that you can go to for that. So I want to get through and share a practice. Does anybody have food lying around or tea or water or something that we can talk about mindful eating? Does anybody have some item of food that they can grab? I have my tea. Yeah, grab it. Just grab some food, get something. If you need to get up and grab something. Let's do, because we may not like the breathwork practice. We may not like the guided, body scan. We may not want to do the autogenic training. Maybe all we have time for today is just mindful eating. And we all have to eat, right? Mary, I see you had your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I didn't mean to be premature with having my hand raised, but I'm enjoying a nourishful right now, which I'm not gonna put my camera on as I'm in my kitchen, but it has a variety of like textures and flavors, which I think we're gonna get into. I
We?
put my hand up a little prematurely.
All right, I'm gonna just call you out. You're my medical student who is integrative
Yes,
from
yes.
Norfolk, Virginia. You have to put your camera on and show me a bean or something. What do you have? Do you have a piece of food? I'm going to walk you through
I
this.
do. I'm going to just like adjust my camera setting here a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't care if there's something messy in the background. So, yeah. So pick up, is that a chickpea? Pick that up. Just
yeah.
okay. We're with your fingers, not a spoon. We're gonna go rogue. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do, if you have this, let's do this with Mary. Pick up
Yeah.
and I want you're gonna hold it in your hand. I can feel the warmth of my tea. Mary can feel the warmth of the chickpea. Begin to look at this like you've never seen this before. Maybe roll it around. I'm noticing my tea bag. Maybe thinking about, where did this come from? Somebody grew this. Somebody transported this to the grocery store. Some cashier wrung this out. Maybe this is from Amazon and somebody dropped it at my doorstep, this tea bag. And maybe put it up to your nose. Does it have a smell? Can you smell? And maybe you put it near your ear. Do you hear a sound? Like I can hear a sound with my liquid moving in my cup, my tea bag in my cup. So we've used our sight, we've used our touch, we've used our sound. How about our smell? Like, can we smell anything? And then put it to our lips. Can we notice, do we begin to salivate? Don't put it in your mouth just yet. But do you begin to salivate? And then maybe whatever you have, putting it in your mouth, maybe moving it around in your mouth, noticing your teeth, noticing your tongue, noticing whatever it is that you put in your mouth. If you have food, chewing it. If you have liquid, go ahead and swallow. Beginning to think about, how is this going to nourish our bodies? Why do we eat? Why do we drink? So can we move from that sympathetic fight or flight nervous system, go, 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 being chased by the tiger, into parasympathetic? I'm ready to rest. I'm ready to digest. And I'm really going to consider what this is going to do for me in this moment. What that chickpea that Mary had is going to do for her. So maybe it's a potato chip and you really love potato chips and you have a potato chip addiction, but maybe you just have one potato chip and you just really love that potato chip and you savor that experience mindfully. And you use that as a meditative practice. And so I just invite you to realize that you don't have to do a seated breathwork practice, do an autogenic training, do a body scan. You can do this as you eat. And so my husband and I, we have on our kitchen table, we have, let me grab my little chime here. 1, 3. We have a chime. I'm in my office, but we have one of these on our table. And we ring the chime. We say what we're grateful for. We put our hands on the table. We take some deep breaths and we move ourselves from sympathetic into parasympathetic to begin to digest our food. Why? Because we cannot digest our food and absorb our nutrients when we're being chased by a tiger. And we need to signal our body, it's time for me to receive this food, nourish my body, feed this with love, and think about that mind-body connection. Does anybody have a mindful eating practice that they use regularly? All right. Okay. I'm going to share my slides again because we're going to talk about the science behind this. And so we know that mindful eating is paying attention to our food on purpose, moment by moment, without judgment. Remember I said, even if it's a potato chip, you can have that one potato chip so slowly and mindfully, but we're starting to pay attention to not just what we eat, but how we eat, why we eat, when we eat. And the difference with mindful eating is that it's not about rules or guidelines. It's about our individual experience, and no one is going to have the same food experience every single time. The idea is for people to have their own experience and to be in the present moment while having the experience. This can contribute to weight loss and maintenance, improve our digestive function. As I had already mentioned, we're going to absorb better, and positive behavioral change. Sorry, my slide is messed up here, but practicing mindful eating, eating more slowly, don't rush the meals, chewing food slowly and evenly, eliminating our distractions, turning off the TV, putting down your phone. Maybe you put all the food on the table. This is one of my favorite things to do, especially it's coming towards winter. It's dark earlier. We put all the food on the table and we shut off the lights. We eat with our fingers, our hands, like we don't use silverware, and we just, we talk and our conversation is more rich, and we're actually smelling the food much more, the smell is enriched. You're really connecting with your food a little bit better. Eating in silence, maybe focusing on how this food is making you feel. If you ate the potato chip or a whole bag of potato chips, maybe you don't feel so good after, versus eating a banana. Stop eating when you're full. I had a person the other day say, I just lost 20 pounds because I just stopped eating when I was full. What a novel idea. Ask yourself why you're eating this. Are you truly hungry? Is the food you're eating healthy for you? I have a whole practice and whole hour podcast on mindful eating on my website. So if you want to listen to more, you can. Expressive movement. So we can actually do expressive meditations like shaking and dancing. It's an expressive meditation In contrast to exercise, which is controlled and mind-directed, expressive meditation is spontaneous. It can be liberating. It increases serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, helps decrease anxiety, increases our resiliency, gives us a better mood, improves sleep, memory, capacity to focus. Maybe we'll do this at the very end. We'll see how much time we have. Practice expressive writing, journaling. We know that journaling can be beneficial in disease processes like asthma, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, insomnia, physiological and psychological trauma. And honoring our emotions. This is what I was talking to you about earlier. Labeling our emotions can decrease their intensity and limbic system activity, contributing to reducing and improving our emotional regulation. So if you don't acknowledge your own pain, it's less probable we're going to have empathetic resonance and associate and resonate with the pain of others. And this can lead to compassion fatigue. So we're going to look at this and take a photo of this slide or look this up on the internet. I have this as on my phone as a photo that I look at. I actually have one that's sitting in my kitchen that we can just look at our emotion wheel and say how we're feeling in this moment. But think about, actually, I'm going to ask you to put in the chat what you're feeling in this very moment. Just pick something. It could be out of control. It could be pressured. It could be inferior. It could be weak. It could be happy. It could be sad. It could be surprised. It could be playful. What is it? Just put something in the chat that you're feeling in this moment. And what that just did helps us to improve our emotional intelligence, which is essential for our well-being. Emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive, interpret, demonstrate, control, evaluate, and use our emotions to communicate with and relate to others effectively and constructively. So I'm going to stop share for a moment. What do we got in the chat, Beth? You're muted.
We have eager, tired, calm, thankful, peaceful, tired, guilt for taking an hour to myself, content and calm, stressed, full, calm, relaxed, acceptance, grateful, lost, happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so thank you for making that connection, because emotions generally don't last longer than 90 seconds. But oftentimes we feel this heaviness because we don't even know what it is that we're feeling. I had a situation with a family member, and I was just like, my husband could tell I was so pressured. And he said, Michelle, pull out your wheel. What are you feeling in this moment? And I was scared. And as soon as I identified I was scared, it lifted. And I had to come back to the present moment. The reality is, in the current moment, everything was okay. That was all I had to go by, that everything was okay. Couldn't change the fact what was going on. I couldn't predict what was about to happen. But in this moment, I knew that everything was really okay, and it was okay to be scared. And so we can be angry, we can be frustrated, we can be disappointed, and then we can also hold happiness and contentment and peace and all of these things. But I invite you to really honor your emotions, because it's important for us to have them and to notice them. So let me share my screen. I have 2 more slides, I think. We're almost done. So with the daily hacks, I invite you to consider, do you want to drink more water? Maybe we'll set an alarm on our phone and we'll check in with ourselves and say, what do I really need in this moment? Maybe we'll just eat some more vegetables or prioritize our sleep, or we'll do a mindful eating. We'll put a timer or something on our table to remind ourselves to be more mindful. Maybe we'll have our unplugged time and not feel bad about it. It's okay to feel wherever you're feeling right now, guilty, but maybe you'll realize how much better you feel by having this, and you'll do it again. Maybe you have that gratitude chime, or you journal. Maybe you have a worry journal. Write down your worries, close it. Maybe just have moments of awe. I'm in awe in the fact, maybe put in the chat where we all are across the United States. Maybe we'll just put that, because I'm in awe of the fact that we can all be together wherever we are. I have a friend who I think is in here from Canada. So I'm not sure if she's still here, but I know she was. So we're not just And actually, I think I saw also somebody from New Zealand. So we're from all over the world. Mindfulness is a mindset. Maybe we just have a mantra when we wash our hands and say, may we all be calm, may we all be healthy, may we all be safe, may we all be happy, and may we all live with ease. This is the book that all this work is from, Transforming Trauma, The Path to Hope and Healing. I run these mind body skills groups, which are groups where we meet for 2 hours a week and we actually do a skill. I was in the New York Times for the work that I did for well-being during COVID with healthcare workers. And so here is the website, the Center for Mind Body Medicine, my website, Wholehearted Medicine. We also have a YouTube channel on Be Well Therapies and the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. I have to put my team in here. We have our health coach, Trina. Here is a picture, and I'm sure Beth remembers seeing this last year at ACLM. We were there for Halloween, so we dressed as our fruits. My physician assistant, my project manager, several of our board certified in lifestyle medicine physicians and family medicine that are also at ACLM last year and part of my team, my dietitian who is in California, my yoga therapist, physical therapist, integrative physical therapist who is in Ohio. We also have someone in Michigan and North Carolina on my team. And here's my information. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm always happy to be a resource to you. And it was so exciting being with all of you today. And so where are we time-wise? We have 5 minutes to share. So I'm happy to